It is a Tuesday morning at the grocery store. You walk past the dairy case, and there, right beside the yogurt, is the kefir. Plain kefir, vanilla kefir, strawberry kefir. Little cultured milk drinks in clean plastic bottles with words like probiotic, gut health, and ancient tradition printed across the label as if somebody just rediscovered something farm kitchens forgot 100 years ago. And the price is what catches your eye. $5 for a bottle, $6 for the organic one. $7 if it is the special small batch kind in the glass-looking package. And I want you to stop right there and think about what you are looking at. Because kefir is one of the oldest cultured milk foods in the world. It is not a modern wellness product. It is not a luxury drink. It is milk that has been transformed by living culture, the same way careful households have preserved food for generations. Now, I want to show you something. In an older kitchen, the kind where people knew how to keep food going from one day to the next without paying extra for a factory to do it for them, kefir would not have been treated like a specialty bottle in a refrigerated case. It would have been part of the rhythm of the kitchen. Milk in the jar, grains in the milk, time on the counter, strain it, drink it, start the next batch. I am Elias Yoder. I am Amish, and I grew up around kitchens where people understood that the simplest foods are often the ones the store makes the most money, dressing up and selling back to you. Today, I want to walk you through kefir, what it is, why homemade kefir is different from the store kind, and how to make it the old plain way for almost nothing. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why so many folks who make kefir at home never go back to buying it in the bottle. Now, the old method plainly. To make real kefir, you need two things: milk and kefir grains, not powdered starter if you can help it, not flavored bottled kefir used as a shortcut. Real kefir grains, and if that sounds strange, I want to make it simple. Kefir grains are not grain in the wheat or corn sense. They are small, soft clusters of bacteria and yeast living together in a natural culture. They look a little like tiny cauliflower pieces or pale curds. You place them into milk, and over time, they ferment that milk into kefir. That is the whole system, the chemistry, plainly. The living culture in the grains feeds on the natural sugar in milk, which is lactose. As it feeds, it creates acids, beneficial compounds, and a little natural fizz. The milk thickens, the flavor turns tangy, and what comes out is not just milk anymore. It is kefir, thinner than yogurt, more drinkable, more tart, and alive in a way most factory dairy products are not. And this is where homemade kefir earns its reputation. The honest truth is, store kefir can still be useful. It can still be a cultured food. But homemade kefir, made from living grains, is a continuing culture. It is active. It is changing. It is the old version, not the standardized version built for shelves, transport, and broad commercial consistency. That is the difference. Now, here is the method. Pour about 1 quart of milk into a clean glass jar. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of kefir grains. Cover the jar loosely with a cloth or a lid set lightly on top. Then leave it at room temperature for about 18 to 24 hours. That is the first rule. Do not rush it. By the next day, the milk will have thickened slightly and taken on that clean, sour smell that tells you fermentation is doing its work. Some batches will separate a little with thicker curds and some whey. That is normal. In fact, it is often a sign the grains have done their job well. Then you strain the kefir through a plastic or stainless steel strainer into another jar or bowl, gently stirring so the liquid passes through while the grains remain behind. And now you are ready for the old kitchen magic of it. You do not throw the grains away. You place them straight into fresh milk and begin again. One batch gives rise to the next. That is why homemade kefir is so economical. Once you have healthy grains, the culture keeps going. The store sells you 1 bottle at a time. The old method gives you a living system that keeps feeding the household. Now, I want to say something plainly, because this is where many people hesitate. They assume kefir must be complicated because it sounds old or foreign or specialized. It is not. If you can pour milk into a jar and strain it the next day, you can make kefir. The only real work is remembering to keep the cycle going. And the flavor is different from store kefir too. Usually sharper, fresher, more alive. Some folks drink it plain. Some add fruit or honey. Some pour it into smoothies. Some use it the way older kitchens used cultured milk, in baking, beside breakfast, or as part of a simple nourishing meal. Now, here is where it all comes together. Look at what this really is. A bottle in the store costs $5 or $6, sometimes more. But homemade kefir is made from plain milk and a living culture you keep using again and again. The store version is sold as a premium health product. The homemade version is simply an old kitchen habit. And like so many of the old kitchen habits, the more often you do it, the less sense it makes to keep paying store prices. There is no money in teaching people how to keep a living dairy culture on the counter and feed themselves for pennies a day. There is a great deal of money in bottling cultured milk, adding labels about wellness, and selling it back one serving at a time. So the old method sits quiet while the modern package gets all the attention. Now here is what I want you to do this week. If kefir has ever interested you, get yourself some real kefir grains from a trusted source. Start one small batch with plain milk. Let it sit on the counter one day. Strain it, taste it. Start the next batch. Do it once, not as a theory, but in your own kitchen. Because once you see a jar of milk turn into kefir with your own eyes, it becomes very hard to look at that expensive dairy bottle in the grocery store the same way again. And tell me in the comments below, have you ever made kefir at home? Did your family keep any old cultured foods going in the kitchen? Kefir, yogurt, clabber, buttermilk, sour cream, cottage cheese? Those are exactly the kinds of household food traditions people stop talking about, and they are worth bringing back. Until then, put the grains in the milk, leave the jar alone, strain it tomorrow, and begin again. Because the old truth is still the truth. Some of the best foods for the household are not the ones with the prettiest label. They are the ones that keep making more of themselves in a quiet kitchen.